And that's right. Welcome inside Tourism Talks for today, Wednesday, October the 6th, 2021. I'm in the chair, and on the other side of the line, I've got Mr. Jamal Griffith, chairman of the BHTA Young Leaders Development Program. Good morning, Jamal. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, good morning, Saul. I'm doing well, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm doing real good, you know. Good to hear from you, man. Good to hear about young people in tourism. I know you have been in the tourism field for a long time. And full disclosure to the listeners, I do know Jamal outside of this environment, so that's why maybe a little bit more casual with this conversation.
A little more familiar.
Yeah, exactly. So how long have you been working in tourism, Jamal?
That's a good question. So I've been working in tourism since I was about, I would say, 20.
Yeah.
I am 38 now, so that's about 18 years.
Yeah.
However, I grew up in tourism. My father, shout out to my dad. Hey, Dad. He was a taxi driver for a hotel that was called Long Beach Hotel.
Right.
And every Sunday and Saturday, I would go with him as a 6-year-old, 7-year-old kid with him on his tours. And they would actually do the tours. He would give me the mic and ask me to lead the tour.
Really? So from that young age?
From that young age. That's where my love for the tourism industry really developed through my dad. And so I would say...
Raise up a child in the way it should grow, man.
Exactly. I was working in the industry since then.
Right. I would say so as well, too. So you got in 3 decades in dealing with tourism and the tourist industry in Barbados, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
What was that may also account for your love of Barbados and things Barbadian, because I know for a fact that you love Barbados, that the way you speak about Barbados, the pride that you have for this country is, I'm almost awestruck by it when you start to talk about Barbados, but also about your knowledge of Barbados.
Man, yeah, so a lot of that, again, will go back to my dad. He instilled a lot of knowledge about the island. I would say there's no road in Barbados that my father did not know or does not know.
Right.
And likewise is the same for me. And you know, Saul, we run a lot of roads, right?
Yeah.
So I know all those roads from driving them with my dad. And the thing about Barbados for me is that I love Barbados. And the thing about that with tourism is that I see tourism as a way for us to keep developing our country going forward and keep taking it where it has to go. So that's where my love for tourism and my passion for tourism really ties into my love for my country. Let's
talk a bit about how Barbados can grow, how tourism can help Barbados grow. What's your vision there?
That's we have an hour or two.
We have a half of an hour, but we can start the conversation.
All right, cool. So my vision for tourism is to really see it migrate into a more sustainable entity, right? Sustainable development. And I know sustainable development is a buzzword that everybody talks about. Make sure it's sustainable, blah, blah. But the real thing about sustainable development in tourism is to make tourism more accessible to the community and to take tourism from the tourist neighborhoods that we have established, like say the Gap and places like that, and actually take tourism into a community-based situation, right? Where we allow the people in the community to be enfranchised within the tourism products. They can have bars, they can have restaurants, they can have attractions and tours at a village and community level. And that's what people really want to experience now in this day and age. They don't want to...
Right, they want to feel like a part of the community when they come into the island?
They want to feel like a part of the community. Like yesterday, for instance, I went by my friend Rose Bar, by his bar.
Yeah, where's that?
Beer. That is in Brandon.
In Brandon's, right.
Brandon. Very famous bar, Rose Bar. Shout out to Rose Bar. So I was there, and I went there, and I saw 2 tourists. They were from Scotland.
Right.
Their names are Angus, when I spoke to them, Angus and Sam. And they're actually from Glasgow, and it's their first time here in Barbados.
So they find Rose Bar, and they never find Rose Bar.
So they went on a tour of Monkey Distillery, and they were walking up Spring Garden looking for something to do in the neighborhood.
Right.
And they saw the bar open, and they went and sat down, and they had the rum shop experience. They sat down.
Right.
They bought a bottle of rum. They bought soda water. They bought beers, and they were like mingling with the locals, and they loved it. And they said,
I think that's.
Sorry, go on.
Now I was saying I think that might be the experience there for sure.
That is the experience. Though.
Yeah.
That's the experience. I mean, yes, you can have a fancy restaurant, and people want to come and be able to experience that. And I love dining out. I love 5-star experiences. I love
Dressing up
tapas,
and all that, yeah.
dressing up and all that. But really and truly, on a day-to-day basis, people travel to experience how people live,
Right.
how people exist in their day-to-day. And how we exist in our day-to-day is not Primo and Pisces and St. Lawrence Gap. We exist in the villages and in the communities and in the
Right.
neighborhoods. And that's what people...
You think that's
really
why some place
do.
like the guy that sells the fish cutters,
Cuz.
cause you feel that's why he might be so successful as well because it's so
That's why-
authentic.
Because it's authentic. And not only is it authentic, right? When you go there, you see Bajans going to Cuz.
Right.
And the tourists like the experience of being able to mingle and interact with Bajans.
Right.
That's when I go away or when you go away. So let me ask you a question. When you travel, where do you like to go? Like, what do you like to experience as a
But
tourist?
you know what the first thing they're gonna do when they travel is they're gonna ask the taxi man or the first person that I meet at the airport, the first local, what is there to do? What you recommend?
What do you recommend?
What you do in your spare time? And I don't want to hear from you, you touristy things. I want to hear like what was a
I
good
wanna hear
bar.
what you do.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I think that the tourists are kind of savvy in that they know that they want the insider information, the inside track. They may want this. They know they can find the fancy restaurant, but they want to know on the days that I'm not eating fancy, or probably could get a belly full on a budget.
Exactly. And that's why places like Wendy's, places like Cuz, places like Chicken Rita's,
Yeah.
that's why they will persist because yes, they're local institutions, but in the mind of the tourists who know about them, they're actually legendary, and there's a lore around them. There's a village
Yes.
lore. We need to explore that to our benefit and exploit it because it's part of our heritage and our culture. And when we do that, then we're able to put more money into the communities, put more money into the hands of the people, and thereby develop our economy on a whole level.
This was a beautiful introduction, Jamal. We're going to take in a tune here. When we come back, we're going to talk a bit more about every Barbadian being a part of the tourism product. Because I think that's
I
where the
really want
discussion
that
is going to.
conversation.
So we're going to take in this
Thank
one
you,
song and come back. All right?
Thank you so much.
You're locked on to Tourism Talks on Slam 101.1 FM. I've got Mr. Jamal Griffith on the line, chairman of the BHTA Young Leaders Development Program. We were talking about the tourist experience, the tourism product that we offer. And I'm pretty much skirting around the fact that every Barbadian is involved in the tourism sector, whether we like it or not.
Every Barbadian. Yeah, that's the fact of the matter. So
Right.
let me show it to you on this level, right? When you come in the airport, the first thing you see is a Barbadian. You see the customs officers, you see people in the airport.
Mm-hmm.
They work at the airport, but that's part of tourism.
Yes.
The taxi driver who takes you from the airport to the hotel, that's part of tourism. When you leave there and you go to the attraction places, or you go to the restaurants, you go to the cafes, you go to the gas stations, you go even to the supermarkets. So that's all part of tourism.
Oh, that's tourism. I sometimes
Yeah,
a lot of these tourists know, I would say they want the authentic Barbadian experience. They're catching the bus, and they're catching the ZRs. So everybody.
That's part of tourism.
Yep.
Yep. Because if you remember one thing, right? As people, as human beings, we like to experience things that are different to us. So what
Yes.
we experience. And that's where tourism really lies, in the authentic experience of another nation or another country, another people. So when they come here, even the things that we think are mundane, the coconut vendor is part of tourism.
Because you have to look at Barbados through the eyes of a tourist. So when a tourist sees people on the side of the road cutting coconuts and eating them fresh, it is all inspiring for them.
They stop and they get coconuts. They go and take pictures, and we take that for granted because we see it every single day.
Right.
Coconut, we grow coconuts in our backyard. So
Yeah.
and they don't even the act of eating a mango, even going to the market. So oysters is a tourist attraction.
Because we got to remember that no one is I'm not leaving Barbados to go to some place else that is trying to do Barbados. I'm not going to vacation from Barbados in Barbados, if you get what I mean.
Exactly.
So they're not going to come down here and look for the same things they get. Yeah, they want some things that are going to make them feel comfortable, some of the usual luxuries, but they still want to experience things that they don't get where they come from. So yeah, breadfruit on the menu.
Breadfruit, cuckoo.
Yeah.
I mean, they want to make sure that they get AC for sure, that they have hot water, that they have
Yes.
Wi-Fi. As long as people have that, as long as us as tourists and visitors, wherever we go, have that, we're comfortable.
Yeah.
Right? It's like those things are like air and oxygen, right?
Yeah.
However, depending on where you go, you know that the experience, okay, if you go to Mexico, you want to go into the villages in Mexico and eat authentic Mexican food.
Yes.
Right?
And not the watered down version of it.
And not the watered down version of it. No.
Yes.
And that's what people spend their money for. They want that memorable experience. So for Barbadians, we need to realize that yes, this may be an old industry. People think tourism is an old industry. It's a subservient industry, but it's really not.
Yeah,
it's an industry of interacting with people.
And it's an industry, as you say, it's an industry for everyone. So all by default, we are
everyone.
all part of the tourism industry.
We are all part of the tourism industry.
We got to get away from that whole idea that that when you're dealing with tourists, you are being subservient, etc. And let's understand that you're trying to, because tourism is very important as an industry for our economy and for our well-being as Barbadians.
For our well-being as Bajans. I mean, like, seriously, if you think about it, tourism actually accounts for over 40% of our GDP, right?
Wow.
40%. And it employs 14% of the Barbadian population.
That's a lot.
Take away 14%. Remember when COVID came and all the hotels and restaurants, everything was shut and tourists were not there? We had an awful time. I'm not saying that we need to depend on tourists going forward all the time, because we can diversify our economy and depend on other industries. But in the meantime, we need to realize that we have an opportunity with tourism, right? We have an opportunity now to change the way how tourism operates and change the way how people view tourism, and to move away from that image of a subservient, antiquated industry, because tourism really is not. Tourism is evolving now. It's evolving into a more technologically centered industry, whereas technology is more integral to your trip. So you use your phone for more things. You use Wi-Fi. You use augmented reality.
This is actually leading me right into where I wanted to take the discussion, which is even though all Barbadians are in the tourism sector and industry, you definitely have those jobs that you could say you're in tourism. And young people and youth in tourism, that is where you are. You are the chairman of the Young Leaders Development Program. So we're talking youth in tourism now, and when we start to talk about the technological aspect of it, that's where young people could really fit in as well, not true?
That's where not only we could fit in, but we could thrive.
And lead.
That is our realm of existence. A lot of young people just exist on social media, online, digital applications, and digital devices, and that's our strength, and we need to play to that, right?
Yeah.
So I would love to see. So weren't you in the tourism industry at one point in time too?
Well, not directly, but I've done a lot of work with the tourism industry because I understand the importance of tourism. I was in the IT field before, right?
Right, that's what I thought, right.
Yeah, so when I used to work in IT, I actually used to be doing the computer work. I was working at Fujitsu and we were subcontracted for Bougainvillea. I think you're familiar with Bougainvillea. So I have to go to
Bougainvillea. Shout out to all the staff at Bougainvillea. Lovely staff, lovely hotel, great management. I want to say hi to everyone there.
I will have to go to Bougainvillea to deal with the computer system there. But obviously when you go to Bougainvillea, then you have to interact with tourists.
Exactly.
So by default, I ended up being adjacent to the tourism industry.
Tourism adjacent.
Yeah.
And I asked you about that specifically because you were not even in the tourism industry. You were in the tech industry.
Yes.
But however, the tech industry is adjacent to the tourism industry, as in we support the tech industry.
Yes.
So without the tourism industry, tech industry loses a big client.
Yes.
Without the tourism industry, the banking industry loses a big client.
Yes.
Without tourism, transportation, food, think about it, oil, everything suffers. Our economy contracts because tourism on a number level, you have about 1 million more people on the island every year, right?
Wow.
That's just real fact. Yeah, factually, you have 1 million more people on the island every year. With 1 million more people on the island every year, there's more things for people to do. There's services that are needed. Our country is built on that. So when we don't have those million people coming, we have product that is not being moved. We have services that are not being bought. We have people that are not being employed.
Yes.
Right? So it has a multiplier effect on many other industries. And we need to realize, yes, it is our main industry, but it feeds the other industries. It feeds the agriculture industry. It feeds the transportation industry. So we need to explore maybe the linkages with tourism a bit more to the benefit of the youth and say, hey, you don't have to necessarily work in a hotel, but you can work in this industry that feeds the tourism industry.
You being the chairman of the Young Leaders Development Program of the BHTA, I want to talk about the young importance on and the role of young people in taking the tourism industry forward.
The young people are the future regardless of whatever industry or whatever we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones who are going to be here in 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
We are the ones, not they. We.
I love that song. We are the ones.
Yeah.
And that's true. We are the next generation. So with young people in the industry, it allows for succession planning. And it allows for the baton to be handed over in a way that, yes, the old generation is able to hand over techniques and methods and experience, while the younger generation is able to devise new strategy and new ways of operating within different realms. So
and develop those older techniques as well and push them into the new... Yeah.
Exactly. So it works hand in hand. It's like pieces of a puzzle, you know? Youth belong in it and the old generation belong in it. The thing about the youth is that a lot of times people will go to UE or they will go to BCC or they go Palmarine and they want to come out of those jobs as a manager.
Yeah.
They want to come and work in the hotel industry as a manager. It doesn't always happen like that. It can sometimes, but it doesn't always happen like that. The hotel and tourism industry is one, right?
Yeah.
Where you come in from the entry-level position, but it is one of the industries that has the highest rate of promotion. It has the most movement, the most mobility.
Lots of opportunity for growth.
Opportunity for growth, actually personal development. A lot of people who I know, my former boss, her name is Dawn Curtin from Bougainvillea.
Morning, Dawn.
Hey, Dawn. She came in as an intern, and she's now the operations manager. Before BHTA,
and she didn't stop out there all that time if she didn't see the future for herself and the development personally either.
He was not. And my mentor, who is the past chairman of the BHTA, Stephen Austin, he's the manager of Port St. Charles. And Stephen started as a restaurant server.
Whoa.
I started as a restaurant server.
So that shows you, and that shows that once you have a love for the industry and you're willing to work hard, it takes hard work, or everything is the hard work, or it is the passion for tourism that got you and Stephen and Dawn so far? Or is it a combination of both?
I think it's a combination of both, right? I read a quote this morning, and the quote was, success comes before work only in the dictionary.
Yes.
Right? So you have to actually put in that work to be able to be successful. And, sorry, the only other place that success comes before work is Instagram. If you're being honest, right?
If you're being honest, yeah. All right, what we can do, Jamal, I can get you to hold on here. You got 2 ads to run. We're going to come back, play a song, and then we're going to come back and finish up the conversation. Sorry we don't got 2 hours, but I got these commercials to run. We're coming back very shortly. Hold the line, Jamal.
No problem at all.
Yeah, you're listening to Tourism Talks on Slam 101.1 FM. I've got Jamal Griffith, chairman of the BHTA Young Leaders Development Program on the line. We'll be talking tourism and having a really nice conversation with him. I hope we could finish it up before 10 o'clock. Slam 101, don't you move.
Barbecue Barn has an awesome 2-for-1 starter special. Buy any starter, such as the Buffalo Poppers, Barbecue Chicken Tenders, Buffalo Wings, or Supreme Sampler, and receive the second starter free. Barbecue Barn's 2-for-1 starter special is available on Fridays only in October at Rockley or Warrens, or go to www.chefette.com to order and pay online for island-wide delivery with a $50 minimum spend and $10 fixed delivery fee. Barbecue Barn, always value, always flavor.
Sweep It Up, a premium cleaning service company. At Sweep It Up, we are serious about top-of-the-line service and quality. If you're looking for a one-time spring clean, a recurring clean, Airbnb, villa, or even a real estate move-in, move-out clean, we've got you covered. We also clean small commercial spaces such as offices, salons, retail stores, and even fitness centers. Visit us on our website at sweepitupbarbados.com and fill out an easy form for a free quote. You can also use our new online residential booking tool that makes it easy to book in less than 1 minute. Visit our Instagram page at Sweep It Up Barbados. We strive to achieve 100% customer satisfaction.
Sweep It Up Barbados, where our cleaning meets excellence.
I'll go anywhere, anywhere. I'll go anywhere.
Repping the future. Today, this is Slam 101.
The time right now is 3.5 minutes before 10 o'clock. DMZ is in and ready to rock us. We're going to wrap up Tourism Talks now with Jamal Griffith, the chairman of the BHTA Young Leaders Development Program. We've talked a lot so far about your history in tourism. We talked about what the tourism situation is like now. And we actually did touch a bit on the future of tourism and the development in tourism. We talked about sustainable tourism. All that's left for me to do right now is ask you what your personal vision is, Jamal.
My personal vision, that's a personal one for me as it is.
Yeah.
I want to see the country go more into pushing our heritage as it relates to who we really are and pushing it from a technological way. And when I say push it from a technological way, I mean, let's have tours, let's have the attractions as they are, let's have the museum, let's have all that stuff. But when you walk into the museum, I want that our visitors and people going there are able to experience it in the places that they exist. We exist in our phones, so we are always walking around with our phones, even in a museum or in an art gallery or an attraction or on a tour.
We'll continue to revolutionize.
Yeah, so let's continue to revolutionize. So I want to be able to let us implement technology that will not only enhance the experience of the tourist at each site, at each location, but it would enable the country and the people who make the decisions on a destination management level. It would enable them to be able to get data that they can use to then be able to quantify, for instance, tourist spend or time spent at one location, and then use the information to be able to further develop
those
products.
Yeah. All I know, I studied. I went to Harrison Cave recently. Beautiful. I'm glad and they've
Chuck
reopened.
Chuck
Yeah,
and Ryan are doing a really good job over there, man.
big up Ryan Ford. I hope we get him on the
Big up
show
Ryan
one of these weeks as well. And
Yeah, he's a great guy.
I'm studying places like Cocoa Hill Forest and Nikki and those sort of places. Like we can really implement the technology into those experiences.
Into those places.
Yeah.
Like, imagine putting out your phone and being able to have a guided augmented reality tour or guided augmented reality experience
Yeah.
from your phone.
Imagine if you go and you put the barcodes on these trees.
Exactly.
You scan the barcode, you know exactly where this person was, but they get the information on the trees and how old this tree is estimated to be, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. But then we get information on what they're finding to be interesting.
Exactly.
How they're interacting with these stuff and where they're going and how long they're spending there.
Yes.
And we can extrapolate that data into information that we can use to our benefit to make decisions more from a place of knowledge.
With more information, yeah. Jamal, I want to thank you so much. This has been a great episode of Tourism Talks. Talking to young people in the future of tourism, Young Leaders Development Program. And you have a great day, buddy.
Thank you so much. So I just want to say thank you very much. Thank you to Slam and hi to Barbados. And I went to the chart experience at Bushy Park recently. That's a really good tourist experience, but it's also a really good experience for Beijing. So if you haven't gone,
that's the one thing we missed in this interview, that even though every Barbadian is involved in the tourism industry, every Barbadian is potentially a tourist.
And no, that's the thing. Tourism actually starts at home, and we need to be tourists here first.
Yeah.
To be able to experience and enjoy our country, and then we can go anywhere else. That's it. I've been to and I know every single attraction in Barbados more than once. So I think everybody in Barbados should be able to experience it too.
Yeah.
And we actually have a program with the BHTA that allows for that. Maybe we can expound on that next time.
All right, Kathy, you heard it here. All right, guys, that has been it for Mornings on Slam. Thank you very much, Jamal, for your interview on Tourism Talks.